when Corporal of Horse Frankie O'Leary rides through Windsor in full ceremonial kit a week on Saturday, he will not just be playing a key part in the royal wedding procession. He will be repaying a favour. For the 31-year-old soldier credits Prince Harry with helping him on his own journey to the altar some years ago. "He rather kindly helped me get in with a young lady," explained Corporal O'Leary yesterday, referring to his days serving as radio operator, cook and team maker to the junior officer known in the Household Cavalry Regiment as Mr. Wales. The young O'Leary was walking back to barracks in Windsor with his then-girlfriend, Nzina, when a car slowed down and stopped. The driver lowered the window. "See you later, Frankie," said Prince Harry affably. "See you later, sir," replied O'Leary, as nonchalantly as he could. Nzina was bowled over. "I had to scrape her jaw off the floor," the soldier laughed, explaining that romance blossomed thereafter. 5 years ago, they married. It was just one of many stories circulating at London's Hyde Park Barracks, where wedding preparations are now well underway. In addition to the 800 guests at Prince Harry's marriage to Meghan Markle on May 19, there will be a cast of thousands, including clergy, police and stewards. But for 62 of the 325 members of the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment, HCMR, the ceremonial wing of the Household Cavalry, it is rather more personal. For they will be looking after one of their own. Yesterday, the Ministry of Defence allowed the cameras to meet a cross-section of all the military personnel earmarked for the occasion, including streetliners from the Royal Navy and the RAF. The starring role, however, will go to the Household Cavalry, with whom Prince Harry served from 2006 to 2009 before transferring to the Army Air Corps. Yesterday, they talked of their pride in their old comrade, not just for his service in the regiment but for his subsequent role in creating the Invictus Games for wounded troops. Soldiers being soldiers, there was the odd joke about falling standards, too. "He's got a very untidy beard," joked Corporal O'Leary, who served with the prince in Afghanistan in 2007. Their regimental corporal major would have him for that. All the men, however, voiced their admiration for the prince's choice of bride. As Corporal O'Leary put it, "He's pulled a cracker and he gets to take her home." The regiment will provide the travelling escort that accompanies the bride and groom on their journey after the service from St. George's Chapel, through the streets of Windsor, onto the Long Walk and up to the castle for the reception. The regiment will also line the steps of St. George's Chapel and provide the state trumpeters who will herald the arrival of both the Queen and the bride. "It is really important for us because he, the Prince, served with us and he still wears our uniform on a regular basis," said Lieutenant Colonel James Gasserly, commanding officer of the HCMR, who will ride alongside the newlyweds in the procession. When the Prince of Wales married Lady Diana Spencer in 1981, his sister, Sarah Jane Gasselee, was a bridesmaid. At the invitation of the prince, who had been taught to ride racehorses by her father. Lieutenant Col Gasselee's abiding memory of that occasion is the huge box of chocolates he consumed while watching events on TV at a friend's house. This time, his sister will be watching on television while he takes center stage, providing he does not come a cropper this weekend. A proficient horseman in his own right, Lieutenant Col Gasselee plans to compete in the team show jumping at the Royal Windsor Horse Show on Saturday. Might he not be tempting fate? I might breaken. I'm just riding through Hyde Park, he said. That's the thing with horses. There was a palpable buzz throughout the barracks yesterday. It will be a smaller operation than the 2011 wedding of Prince William to Catherine Middleton. Then the Queen was in the procession back from Westminster Abbey with a sovereign's escort, involving 4 divisions of 24 horses. As Prince Harry is not in direct line to the throne, this is a reduced affair. The Queen will make the short journey from the chapel to the reception by car, while the Prince and his bride have a captain's escort of 24 soldiers and 2 officers. But there is still a great deal to be done. From the tailor's shop to the saddlery to the forge, things are gathering pace. Every horse on parade will receive a new set of steel shoes with tungsten tips. Every trooper will spend up to 3 hours the day before cleaning their upstairs kit, their uniform, another 3 hours cleaning their downstairs kit, the horse's equipment, and the same again cleaning the horse, not forgetting white chalk to spruce up any horses with white markings. They will be up before dawn on their day to go over it all again. It costs around £20,000 to dress the average trooper and his horse to the requisite standard, and up to £40,000 for an officer. Both the mounted troops and the stair-lining party will also spend hours polishing their boots, always kiwi polish, on top of their 4 pounds of molten beeswax which will have been worked into the leather before any new pair is worn. Lance Corporal of Horse Charlie Leslie, 29, explained yesterday that, in one sense, it is just another day in the office. These are frontline combat troops who will also take part in the daily changing of the guard at Horse Guards, and will all be on duty soon after the wedding at the Queen's birthday parade. But having taken part in umpteen state visits and state openings of Parliament, Corporal Leslie said that he had never seen anything like the crowds which turned out for the 2011 royal wedding. What advice did he have for any new recruits? Don't fall off, he said, referring to the fate of a colleague who was thrown off at the last wedding after his horse tripped on a drain cover outside Westminster Abbey. The poor man immediately jumped to his feet and stood to attention alongside those lining the street, a textbook response which has gone down in regimental folklore. He was even sent a piece of wedding cake afterwards, added Leslie. Though the gesture was much appreciated, it is safe to say that Prince Harry's old comrades would rather go hungry. Members of the household cavalry make last-minute preparations for their key roles in Meghan and Harry's royal wedding. Soldiers from Prince Harry's former regiment, the Household Cavalry, have spoken of their pride at playing a pivotal role in his wedding to Meghan Markle. Based at Hyde Park Barracks, Knightsbridge, London, the cavalry's ceremonial regiment will have an important part in the wedding on May 19 in Windsor, both during and after the nuptials. Famed for their plumed helmets and shining breastplates, 24 dismounted soldiers and 2 officers will line the staircase into St. George's Chapel at the castle ahead of the ceremony. Following the service, another 24 soldiers and 2 officers will ride on horseback, escorting the bride and groom as part of the carriage procession through the town. Commanding officer of the Household Cavalry Regiment Lieutenant Colonel James Gasserly will command their travelling mounted escort and will be at the side of the carriage. He said, "He has asked us to be involved. It is really important for us because he served with us as the Household Cavalry at Windsor, and he still wears our uniform on a regular basis. It is a real sense of pride to be asked to be involved in what is going to be an amazing occasion and celebration." Lieutenant Colonel Gasserly said for both Harry and Meghan and the country as a whole, it is important to get their part in the day right, adding, "We are demonstrating what Britain does best in many ways to the rest of the world." He admitted that a source of some worry is how the horses will handle the large crowds, the flags and noises, which may upset them, but he said they will do everything they can to get the horses to behave. Lance Corporal of Horse Frankie O'Leary was Prince Harry's driver on operations in Afghanistan in 2007, and will also ride on horseback as part of the escort. Describing Harry, the 31-year-old from Windsor said he loved a good joke and was quite comical, but that he was just a British Army officer. Professional, done his job well, cared about his men a lot, succinct, to the point, a genuinely honest, kind man, he said. After being appointed the ceremonial head of the Royal Marines in December, Harry could choose to wear either a Royal Marines uniform or that of the Blues and Royals, something which is yet to be revealed. Lieutenant Colonel Gasserly said whichever one Harry chooses, that organization will feel an amazing sense of pride in it, adding, "It won't lessen the pride we feel if he chooses a different uniform because we know he served with us on operations, which is really important." Harry joined the Blues and Royals in April 2006 and served with the Household Cavalry Regiment, based in Combermere Barracks in Windsor, undertaking 2 tours of Afghanistan and rising to the rank of captain. The Household Cavalry consists of 2 regiments, Armoured Reconnaissance and Mounted Ceremonial, with both units manned equally by soldiers from 2 regiments, the Life Guards and the Blues and Royals. At major occasions like trooping the colour and the state opening of Parliament, the ceremonial soldiers are a familiar sight. The troops take part in ceremonial events for a period, but they are still fighting. Soldiers and many go on to the reconnaissance unit to serve on operations. Asked what it means to play a part in his nuptials, he said, "I love big parades. This one is a little bit more special, having known the man, and everyone loves a wedding. On the morning of the wedding the soldiers will spend hours cleaning their breastplates, helmets, swords and the dreaded thigh-high jack boots they wear, which can take hours to turn from a dull surface to patent-like leather. They will also have to make sure all the tack on their horses is in pristine condition and ready to be seen by the thousands of spectators who will line the wedding route in Windsor." Corporal Major Daniel Snoxall, who was in Harry's troop of 12 men after he passed out of Sandhurst, and was a young commander of one of his vehicles, will form part of the staircase party. Stating how it was an amazing experience to work with Harry, describing him as a boss, he said Harry was very professional and able to do the job, and how knowing him adds that extra layer of pride. "It is a normal day, normal event for the household cavalry. These are the sorts of things we do all the time," he added. Asked how he will cope with not even being able to look around during the ceremony or at those arriving, including the bride, he said that is the brilliance of their training. At being professional and at having that moment not to be weak, looking around, and to be strong and just stand there and to take that moment in, he said. "It is not our day, it is not our chance to make a scene, it is being part of the furniture and that reliability of the nation and the country to stand there